She explained that after meeting with Marla, she knew for sure that her marriage to Trump was over. And so, just like she predicted, in February 1990, about 2 months after that encounter, Trump officially filed for divorce from Ivana. Well, you would think that after Ivana was gone, Trump and Marla would live happily ever after together. But that was not the case, because although they got married shortly after this, they separated just 4 years down the line and got divorced after 2 more years. Why, you might ask? Well, Marla has finally opened up about the shocking details. Reasons for Marla and Trump's separation. Marla Maples and Donald Trump tied the knot in December 1993, 3 years after Trump divorced Ivana.
But here's where things get even messier. Marla later admitted that she felt pressured into signing that prenup. In an interview with Vanity Fair, she revealed that the prenup was the big battle all along, and that she only agreed to sign it because she believed they would revisit it later. Spoiler alert, they never did. That revelation alone raised serious eyebrows, with many questioning whether she had been coerced into signing an unfair deal. After all, at the time of the wedding, Marla was already pregnant with Trump's child, and when she told him about the pregnancy, his reaction wasn't exactly heartwarming. Trump himself admitted that his first words upon hearing the news were, "Excuse me, what happened?" Not exactly the response Marla was hoping for. Even after they were married, their relationship never seemed stable. The prenup had strict conditions, even regarding their daughter, Tiffany Trump. Child support payments were only guaranteed if Tiffany didn't get a full-time job, join the military, or enter the Peace Corps. That level of control over a child's future raised a lot of questions about Trump's priorities. Many suspected that Marla's pregnancy was the main reason he proposed in the first place, rather than true love. But the real reason their marriage crumbled runs much deeper. Marla has now revealed that she and Trump were simply too different. They came from completely different worlds. Trump was a businessman raised in wealth and power, while Marla grew up in a small town in Georgia valuing faith, kindness, and emotional connection. As time went on, those differences became impossible to ignore. For Marla, love meant emotional intimacy, support, and personal growth. But in her marriage to Trump, she found herself increasingly isolated. Trump's focus was always on his business, empire, and public image, leaving little room for emotional connection. Over time, Marla realized that they were leading separate lives. She wanted a deep, meaningful partnership, while Trump was more concerned with his career and status. The emotional divide between them grew wider with each passing year. And no matter how much she tried, she never felt fully understood or supported. Marla has since admitted that their relationship often felt combative, with constant tension between them. She initially fell for Trump because she saw a different side of him, a vulnerable side that others didn't see. But as time passed, that side became harder and harder to find. Eventually, she had to accept that they were never going to work as a couple. In 1997, they separated, and by 1999, their divorce was finalized. Reflecting on their time together, Marla has made it clear that despite the extravagant lifestyle, their relationship lacked the foundation needed to survive. While their romance started with passion and controversy, it ended in quiet disappointment. Their differences weren't just small disagreements, they were fundamental incompatibilities that no amount of wealth or public appearances could fix. And just like that, one of the most talked about relationships of the 90s came to an end. What started as a headline-making affair turned into a high-profile marriage and eventually an inevitable divorce. The world watched as Marla Maples went from being Donald Trump's mistress to his wife, and then to his ex. And even though their relationship is long over, the drama, the scandals, and the unforgettable moments still keep people talking. Marla has since moved on, focusing on a more private and peaceful life. And as for Trump, well, we all know his story continued with even more controversy and drama. But one thing is for sure, when it comes to Donald Trump's relationships, nothing is ever simple. And Marla Maples, she will always be remembered as the woman who lived through one of the most scandalous chapters in Trump's history. Before Melania Trump, there were Ivana and Marla Maples. And if you think Donald Trump's marriage history is dramatic, just wait until you hear the shocking reason his relationship with beauty queen Marla Maples came to an end. Their love story was so controversial that even now, decades later, people still can't stop talking about it. Back when their separation made headlines, the rumors surrounding them were so wild, they left everyone in disbelief. But now, after all these years, Marla has confirmed what many had long suspected. What really went down between her and Trump? And why did their marriage only last 6 years? Stay tuned because this story is filled with twists, betrayals, and jaw-dropping revelations. To understand the full picture, let's go back to the beginning. Did you know that Marla Maples came into Trump's life while he was still married to his first wife, Ivana Trump? Their romance started in the late 1980s, and to say it was controversial would be an understatement. Marla, a Georgia-born actress, model, and TV personality, was no secret mistress. She was right in the public eye. And Donald? Well, being married didn't stop him from flaunting their relationship for the world to see. For over 4 years, they carried on their affair, making headlines along the way. Trump eventually divorced Ivana in 1990, but not before one of the biggest scandals of the time shook the media. On February 16, 1990, while he was still legally married, a bombshell headline from the New York Post took over the news cycle. It claimed that Marla had been bragging about her relationship with Trump, even telling friends that their intimate life was the best. That one line was enough to create a media frenzy, with tabloids running the story for weeks. It was such a big deal that it even managed to overshadow major global events like Nelson Mandela's release from prison. But as shocking as that was, it still wasn't the most dramatic moment in this messy love triangle. That came in December 1989, when Ivana and Marla had a now iconic confrontation in Aspen, Colorado. Trump had taken his family on a skiing vacation, but behind the scenes, he had also arranged for Marla to be there. It was the kind of setup that could only lead to disaster. And it did. When the two women finally crossed paths, Marla reportedly walked right up to Ivana and boldly declared, "I'm Marla and I love your husband. Do you?" Ivana's response was just as fierce. She fired back, "Get lost. I love my husband." That moment confirmed what Ivana had suspected for a while. Her marriage to Trump was beyond saving. Just 2 months later, in February 1990, the divorce proceedings officially began. Now, you might think that after all this drama, Trump and Marla's love story would be one for the ages. But that wasn't exactly the case. Despite tying the knot soon after Ivana was out of the picture, their marriage didn't last. In fact, within just a few years, cracks started to show. And before long, they were headed for divorce court. For years, Marla stayed relatively quiet about the reasons their marriage ended. But now, she's finally opening up about what really went wrong. She and Trump got married in December 1993 in a grand ceremony at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. The wedding was extravagant, with over 1,000 guests, including high-profile celebrities and business moguls. But even on their wedding day, there were signs that this was more of a transaction than a love story. One major red flag: the ironclad prenuptial agreement. After the financial blow Trump took in his divorce from Ivana, he wasn't about to make the same mistake twice. He made sure Marla signed a prenup before the wedding, and when the details of that agreement leaked, it was shocking. Marla would receive just $1 million if they divorced within 5 years, plus another $1 million for a house. That's a lot of money for most people, but compared to the $25 million Ivana walked away with, it was practically nothing.